Hi guys, I'm Jashmita and welcome back to my channel, A Little Bit of Everything. And in today's video, I am filming my February book reading wrap-up. So in my February wrap-up, I have a lot of books which I actually started in the month of January but finished in February. So I really hope you enjoy this video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. I make videos on beauty, lifestyle, books, makeup, fashion. Unfortunately, most of the books that I have been reading nowadays is the Kindle edition. I will be traveling very soon and I do travel around a lot. So I cannot unfortunately take with me all my lovely paperbacks and hardbound books. I carry my iPad everywhere I go. So I find that downloading a Kindle edition is much better and I read it much more than I would a paperback. But there is nothing like holding a book and reading it, and I miss that a lot, especially when it comes to books that I really like. So the first book I'm going to talk about, or rather the first series I'm going to talk about, is a very hyped, very popular series called the Shadow and the Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. Now she has continued with her Grisha verse stories from the Six of the Crows series into the Shadow and the Bone series, and there are 3 books in this trilogy. It is Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising. They have such lovely covers, and I'm sure the hardbound books, I would love to own them someday. They look so good. So this is what the cover in the iPad looks like. The Kindle edition cover looks like this for Siege and Storm, and the cover for Shadow and Bone looks like this. Very nice covers, and I really miss reading by holding it. In December and in January, I was going through this fantasy YA phase, and I almost got pulled out of that phase, and the Shadow and Bone trilogy literally put me right back in the middle. And to be honest, I only started reading Shadow and Bone series because it was going to be a Netflix series. It is going to be a Netflix series very soon, and I wanted to be updated about the book before I actually watched the series, and I missed that with a few of the other series like Bridgerton, and I did not want that to happen again. So that is the main reason why I picked up Shadow and Bone trilogy, and I am happy to say that I was so enthralled by the books, and it was so amazing. The writing was so fluid. It almost reminded me of J.K. Rowling writing. It's not adult fantasy, so you don't get all of that steamy scenes and the gore associated with it. So this is targeted mainly towards the age group of 15 to 20, 15 to 18. Story is about 2 main characters, Alina and Mal. They are like childhood friends, and Alina is a cartographer and Mal is a soldier at the First Army. He's something called a tracker, and Alina is literally a nobody and she has no special powers, but suddenly when she has to cross this area called the Fold, which is like a area of darkness that divides the empire in which this book is set, when she has to cross that fold, she discovers that she has some magical powers in her, and then she's taken in by these people called the Grisha who have magical powers, and she's trained by the leader of the Grisha called the Darkling. And the chemistry between Alina and the Darkling is palpable, even though Mal and Alina are childhood friends, and there is that entire trope of friends to lovers going on. It just doesn't compare with the chemistry between the Darkling and Alina. And as the book progresses, we see a lot of changes and shift in loyalties, and a lot of plot twists, and new characters come in. And even after all of this, the chemistry, the romance that goes on, the intensity of the romance that goes on between Alina and Darkling is what has kept me hooked on to this book. And the storyline is so very different from the other contemporary fantasy YA that you will get. The entire concept of Grisha and the magic that they do is very familiar. At the same time, it's not something that I have read before in any other series. And also it is set in Russia, so that is also something very novel, and I haven't read any fantasy series that is being set in Russia, and all the names are Russian. They take a lot of inspiration from Russian lore and Russian culture. So that is something new, and I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, I can't say I 100% agree with how this book ends or how the series ends. I would have preferred a different sort of ending, but I guess Lee Bardugo knew what she was doing, and this the ending is also something not what you would expect from fantasy YA. The ending is very tepid, if I must say, and also very different, not what you would expect. So all in all, I really like the Shadow and Bone series. The next book that I read is not something that I usually read. I would put it in the genre of a biography because it is written by the person who has actually experienced all of this, and it is also a very popular movie. I'm sure many of you have already seen it, and that is The Street Cat Named Bob. Now, I have loved the movie and I wanted to read the book to see if it was as good, and I never thought I'd be saying this in my life, that the movie is better than the book. I have not seen anything like this, but unfortunately that is true. Maybe how the director adapted the book. It's a lot more fast-paced than what the book is. The book is basically a story about a wayward soul, a recovering drug addict, a street musician who is barely getting through day by day and is very poor and is absolutely poverty stricken, has no direction in life. He suddenly meets this stray cat. The stray cat literally waltzes into his life and simply implants himself there. This cat is called Bob, and he has no mood to go anywhere. So he sticks to this guy called James, who is the street musician, and then they travel from one place to another in London performing. And because of this cat, he gets a lot of people who come to listen to his music. When the cat goes away suddenly for some reason and he falls back into his old drug addict ways, the cat comes back again and makes him recover. So it's basically how a pet can affect you and make you more responsible and a better human being and change your life for the better. If you are a pet lover, I'm sure you will love this book, though it is a little slow in my opinion. It goes on from page to page, literally describing every single detail of what that guy is thinking, and it also goes into some flashback periods where it tells you how the guy ended up in such a horrible situation where he's living in the homes for derelicts and he's living on dole and he's barely getting through day by day. So it's an interesting read, but it's also a slow read, and I would much prefer to watch the movie. And you do enjoy watching movies, then maybe you can just watch the movie and you will get a much better experience. After watching so many videos on BookTube and so many recommendations, and I finally managed to read Penelope Douglas. Yes, this is the first time I'm reading her. Don't judge me out there. And I decided to start with her debut novel. So that is the first book of the Fall Away Lane series, and that is the book called Bully. This does not, I've heard other people say who have read all of the Penelope Douglas books that this book does read like a debut novel, but I did not feel that. And the best part about this book, which is a romance by the way, the best part about this book is that the characterization of the female lead is nothing like anything I've read in other romance novels. Usually the female leads in romances are very feminine, very girly, and they have a few set qualities. But this girl is a geek, a nerd. She likes science, she's into cars, she runs, she's athletic, and also she has a whole lot of spunk and sass. She does not downright beat people up like from Blood and Ash, but it's very realistic, and these are the sort of girls that you will see so often in high school, and it reminded me of my high school days. So I really liked the characterization of the female lead. The male lead was, as you would expect. So this story is mainly about a girl from senior high. She was friends with this guy, but then suddenly after one summer vacation, he comes back and seems to absolutely hate her and makes life hell for her, bullies her, plays pranks on her, and she does not know why, and she's trying to understand why. And she also reminisces about their childhood friendship and how they used to climb trees and sit in the rain. And they're also next door neighbors, by the way, so major Riverdale vibes, Betty and Archie vibes going on here. So this is a romance novel from that era where punk and rock and emo music was very much popular, very much in fashion. So basically that was my high school days, and I'm a little bit late to the Penelope Douglas party, but on the whole the book was really nice and a much better romance than a Colin Hoover novel, you can say, because of the writing style. It is smooth, it is mature, and it is that of a writer who really enjoys writing English language. So I really enjoyed The Bully, and I cannot wait to read more of Penelope Douglas books. The next few books that I want to talk about are books that I had read previously, but I just picked them up in February, and I just wanted to include them in my February wrap up as well, because I actually did read them in February, but not for the first time. The first two books in that category are these books by Meek Viking, and it's the Little Book of Huga and the Little Book of Luca. Look at the covers of these books. It's hardbound and it is so very cute. Actually, that is the reason why I had picked up these books in the first place, because these are sort of lifestyle, self-help, self-care, moral sciencey, motivational books, and I was not sure if I would like them because this is a genre that I don't read at all. And I was very surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that these books are not preachy at all. They do not remind you of your moral science books. In fact, it's a very good take on Scandinavian lifestyle and the minimalist lifestyle, and what makes Scandinavia so happy, and what sort of daily routines, the sort of culture that they invest in that makes their life more wholesome. And this contains a little bit of research, case studies, and a lot of knowledge on the Huga, which is very popular, I think, when it comes to home decor and interior design, and just getting the cozy vibe in. So I did not know the fact, but when you are when it's pouring outside and you are sitting with a cup of tea or coffee or hot chocolate and cozied under a blanket with your favorite book, that is what Huga is. And apparently Scandinavia, because light is so scant there, they really specialize in all those cozy moments, and they know how to capture it, and they know how to heighten all the coziness around you. So I think both these books are very good reads, and they are sort of complementary to each other. I think the Little Book of Luca came first, and then the Little Book of Huga, which I think has more popularity. And even if you just want to improve your life and just know a little bit about what this Scandinavian, Danish and Swedish culture, then I would highly recommend you check these books out. You don't have to read it like page by page. You can just flip through and read the most important chapters, or the chapters that appeal to you a lot. That is what I tend to do with these books. I tend to pick them up when I have nothing to read and just flip through some of the chapters that I related to. The next book I wanted to talk about is a coffee table book, actually, and this is The Humans of New York Stories, and this is for the Instagram page, the very popular Instagram page Humans of New York, and I think it needs no introduction. It basically takes all the photos and the stories that you would see on Instagram, and it's compiled a book out of this. So it has a picture and then it has a story, and the entire book is like that, different stories by different people, and it is so entertaining to read. I love picking it up when I'm feeling low and go through some of these randomly, and it's sure to bring a smile on my face. I cannot recommend this coffee table book enough. Coffee table books, in my opinion, are just there lying around in the coffee table, have really no use. But this book, my god, is a real life changer. Not only is the concept new about Humans of New York, to immortalize it in the form of a book is so much better than going to the Instagram page and then checking it out. I mean, yes, these are some of the maybe some of the first few photographs or the posts he put on Instagram, but having it in a form of a book really makes all the difference. You go back to it, you read it more, and it's so much better than opening the Instagram page and checking out or searching for those pictures there. I really love this book and I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to check it out. It's really worth it, and even if you don't actually read it, it's a very nice thing to have on your coffee table. I mean, look at the cover, it is so nice. It looks like a newspaper or a magazine, and it's the paper quality and the quality of the entire hardbound edition, and the pages are really nice. These are acid washed pages and they still smell as if it was new. And this book is maybe around 5 or 6 years old, and I go through it every other month, some stories, some chapters, and I never get bored of it. So those were all the books that I read in February. I really hope you enjoyed this February wrap up. If you have some book recommendations that you want me to include in my March to be read, then please do include them in the comment section below. I will be bringing out a video on the March to be read very soon. I have a long list of books that I want to complete in March, and I'm so glad that I'm back into this habit of reading. And one of the main reasons that I'm filming all of this and uploading is to give myself some sort of accountability so that I continue to do this. I continue with my reading journey, because in the last 2 or 3 years I really did not get time or the energy or the motivation to read, and I hope that you guys will see me through this journey. And until the next video, bye.